What's up, tea drinkers? Who's ready to spill? Welcome to The Tea with KG, hosted by your girl, Kaylee Grace. Here you'll find your weekly boost of real talk mixed with laughter, healing, and all of those vulnerable, messy moments in between. The Tea with KG is a safe space for you to show up exactly as you are. We are here to share real-life stories from around the globe and be a community of love, joy, and celebrating life. This is a real deal show, so there will be coarse language and sensitive topics discussed. The most beautiful stories oftentimes emerge from the darkest of places, and we're here to explore it all. There's room for everyone at this tea time, so grab your drink of choice, spark it up, or just relax and soak it up. Cheers, and let's spill. What's up, tea drinkers? We are back with another episode of The Tea with KG. I'm your host, Kaylee Grace, and we have another amazing guest joining us this week, the lovely, beautiful, talented Kelsey. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. I'm so happy to be here. I am so excited.
Yay, we're so excited to have you. Kelsey's literally been someone I've wanted to have on this podcast for forever, so we finally got our schedules to match, and here she is. I can't wait. Today, we are going to be talking about something very, very special, very raw, vulnerable, brave, courageous, all the things. It's going to be Kelsey's coming out story, and I'm so honored that you're allowing me to share your beautiful light and your beautiful story with the world. It means a lot that you're honoring me with that because I know it's a big deal, and I just want to let you know I appreciate it a lot.
Oh my gosh. You know what? It's so funny you say that because I'm going to start right off the bat with you were such a huge piece of my life that gave me so much encouragement and inspiration to come out. So I'm super honored that you asked me to be here, and I'm really excited to share my story with you and all the tea drinkers.
Oh my God, we're so excited to hear it. So a little backstory, Kelsey and we have been friends for, I don't even know, has it been 10 years? 2015? Almost 10 years.
2015, yeah. So it's been 8. Beginning of 2000, or end of 2014, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we met through work and we just like bonded immediately. It was just, again, another one of those soul connections. We've been besties ever since, and just such an amazing part of my journey and my life as well. Like, we've experienced so much together, like travel buddies and just life, and just it's just that perfect mix of like super fun, hilarious moments, and also such deep connection and conversation, and just, growing and evolving and just finding our truths and just everything. It's just everything.
Yeah, it's been an incredible 8 years. And so it's crazy because it's only been 8 years, but so much has happened in 8 years.
So much. Oh my God. Yeah. So much growth and divine timing and exploring different businesses, who we are, all the things. Like, it's wild. I just thought of our dogs too. Our dogs are like besties.
What? She said that. I literally thought of the dogs. I don't know why. That's so funny. See, connection. That's soul connection.
Our brains.
Same person. Yep.
It's so true. We always are like thinking the same things, or like we'll say the same things. It's so funny. And yeah, our dogs are besties. They're like 3 days apart, Bella and Benson. I miss them together. They're so cute.
No, I had to put her out with a bone because she was panting in my ear. I was like, okay, my girl, you gotta go for this.
We're going to be hearing that in the background.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Oh, she's so funny. Bella would definitely be entertaining. She makes the funniest noises.
Yeah, she gives the best hugs.
Yeah. Oh my God. So she's good. Like so much love. Just love in a little golden package.
Yeah. Our babies are so sweet.
They're so sweet. All right, so we're both Ramble McGee's, so we're going to get right into it. There's going to be a lot of squirrel braining because that's just how we do. Yep. But yeah, I guess we'll start with the who are you and what do you do?
Well, I am Kelsey LeGresley is my name, and I am from Miramichi, New Brunswick. That's how Kaylee and I met here in our hometown, our small town in New Brunswick. And what I do, my real job, my full-time real job is I work in finance for the federal government. And then my passion and what I love is I breed dogs. I'm a dog breeder, and I also have a small business. So I like to dabble in a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a little boy. He's 10, and he's my whole world. And
My little sunshine boy.
yeah.
I love him.
Oh, he loves you. He misses you so much. You guys have the very, very similar souls.
Yeah, we have a special
bonded so
bond.
fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's so great. The best dance parties ever.
Oh my gosh, yes, 100%.
Oh, he
Went
went to his first
last
dance?
night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
last
was
night.
it?
It was so good. You know what's funny is, well, you know, Kaylee, he's on the spectrum. He has autism, so he was a little nervous, which is actually a really good thing to see in a child with autism, because typically they can be in their own, you know, they're kind of their own world and their own
Right.
bubble. So it's nice to see him express that. Even though sometimes that's not a really fun emotion to have, it's still a good emotion, right? To be nervous
Yeah.
or scared sometimes. So I was like, you know what? You're going to have the best time. Be yourself. Like, dance like nobody's watching. And he called me after the dance, and I opened FaceTime, and he was sweating. I was like, did you have fun, buddy? He was like, Mom, I'm so hot and my feet hurt. I was like, perfect. Perfect.
He definitely did it right. I can remember back in the day, if I didn't leave the club sweating and my feet hurting, I didn't do it right. So
Right? I was like, yeah, you got that from your mama. That's good.
yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, he's so sweet. Okay, we could squirrel off on him too, because he's just
Yeah.
so yeah, I know this story is definitely got lots of twists and turns along the way. So we're gonna dive right in. We're ready. Let us hear your beautiful coming out story.
Okay, let's do it. So this is my first time telling my coming out story. So I'm gonna try not to cry. I'm feeling very emotional about it. It's Pride Month. Never
Yes,
actually
Pride
thought,
Month.
I know. I never actually thought I'd be here telling this story. So it's an emotional one for sure, but I hope I can help some people out there that maybe, you know, still in the closet or don't have the support that they feel like, you know, they need. So for me, I was married to a man and had my son. We got married in 2011. And I always knew that I was attracted to women. That has always been a thing for me. My first kiss was a girl, not a guy. Knew I was always attracted to women for as long as I could remember. But I think growing up, I know growing up, I had a lot of internalized homophobia due to my surroundings and not having an inclusive environment and that support that I think that really could have benefited me back then. So I didn't really see that, like, I didn't really visualize being with a woman and building a life, you know, marrying, having children, all of that. I did not see that as an option. That was not a thing that we did back then. I didn't have any friends that were gay. I didn't know anybody that was gay, literally, when I was in high school. And I remember having secret crushes on girls and feeling shame for that, like feeling like that's not normal. Like, you need to find a man, you need to get married, you need to have babies, you need to do what your family expects of you.
Society, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So in my head, that's just what I needed to do. And I had that, it was very deep rooted, very, very deep rooted. So I knew that, or I thought I knew that's what I had to do. So that's what I did. I went through high school. I was in a abusive, toxic relationship with a man. He was my first love. And so there was a lot of growth from that. And then I lived in Ontario, which is about a 12-hour drive from New Brunswick, for those of you tuning in from the States and may not know the geographics of the country. It's about 12 hours. So I was far from my family with him. He was in the military.
And it's so isolating when you're in abuse as well. Like, it's tough for sure.
Yeah, it definitely was. And at that time, it was just a very toxic environment. So I really didn't, although I did have some experiences with women, I really wasn't fully able to be myself. So I did eventually leave that relationship and move back to New Brunswick, where about a year later, I met my ex-husband, who is my son's father. And I think from being in that toxic relationship and not really having a male figure growing up where I felt safe,
Yep.
meeting my ex, who is an amazing person,
Yeah.
and an amazing dad, and feeling very safe with him.
Oh, you would with him.
Yeah.
Very safe. He just has that safe energy. I don't know what it is. Like when he hugs you too, it's just like the best, like most comfort. Yeah.
Bear
Comfort.
hug.
That would be a good word. Yes, a
Yeah,
bear hug. Yeah.
very, very comforting. Yeah. And I felt safe, and I knew that he was a good human, and I knew the only, oh my goodness, I'm going to try not to cry. The only thing that I wanted when I was younger was to be a mom. So, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Let it out, honey.
So I knew that I wanted to be a mom, and I wanted him to be the father of my children. But I was also hiding that part of me, right? That was very deeply hidden and deep down. Oh my goodness, I hope you can edit this.
No, it's all good. This is what's beautiful when we tell our stories. You know me, I'm a crier and I'm an emotional human. So I think this is beautiful. It's just release. And like when you talk about things like that are so emotional and to your core and like so much feeling around it, I find like even sometimes when I talk about certain things, sometimes it's even when I look at Benson, I'm like, oh, like I just like
because he's your baby,
emotions.
right?
Yeah. So I totally get that. It's those are beautiful emotions. So yeah, let him out.
I agree. So yeah, I knew I wanted him to be the father of my kids, and he's an amazing dad, and I made the best choice.
Yes.
When it comes to that, and so, but we always had. He was more like a best friend. We always had like that mutual respect for each other, and we still are really good friends, which is great. I know a lot of people don't have that, so I'm very grateful for that. And we have a very healthy co-parenting, relationship with our son. But there was always this disconnect. There was no, obviously, I'm not attracted to men. I never have been, and that was always something that I pushed down because I thought I had to be, right? But people were like, oh, he's really cute. And I was like, yeah, he's cute. I can appreciate a handsome man and a beautiful woman. And that was about the extent of it for me. But like when we would go out together, I would be looking at the women, not the men. And so all these little things throughout the years they just were like hanging. This is the best way I can describe it. If you picture a clothesline, and you're hanging a wet piece of clothing on the clothesline, it's going to start to weigh down, right? And you're going to keep clipping things onto that clothesline, and eventually it's going to break, right?
That's a great analogy. That's great. I've heard tons of analogies. I haven't heard that one. I like that.
Yeah, that's the way I picture it. Like all these little things, like I've been with women before, and I've been with men, and the way I felt with women and the way I felt with men, and just these little hints over time. I'm like, okay, I always knew I was bisexual. I know I was attracted to women. And the more that time went on, and the more I was healing from trauma, and the more I was growing as a person, I started to realize that the reason why I didn't have this connection with all of my past relationships, and even at the time my husband, which was heartbreaking to me because we had a child, and so I still have a lot of. It's an ongoing process of healing. And,
oh my God, yes. Like I just want to touch on that part of your life. Like that was one of the brave. Like I say this all the time, but I admire your strength and your bravery and your courage in that part of your life because I remember being there for it. And I know how scared you were, and I know how like all the feelings you were feeling. And I just knew I was like, if you stay in this position, like it's not good. Like same with me in past relationships. I knew if I stayed there any longer, it was not going to be good. Like it was just not it wasn't right for us. Yeah. Like those places that we were. And it's just, I just want to bring light to how I'm just so proud of you because you moved, I don't want to say so quickly, but in a good way. Like, cause you knew for so long and then you navigated it. And once you decided, it didn't take you long to actually go for it. And I was just like, fuck yeah, girl. Cause like, yes, it's hurtful. Yes, it's painful. It's all the things. It's all those emotions of grieving, but it's always for the better, the good, like your highest, what's the word I'm looking for? Like your highest good.
Yeah, most authentic self, right? And
Yeah.
when you're in the thick of it too, it's really hard to see the other side. And for me, it was like a brick wall. I couldn't see the other side. Kaylee, when you say, like, you were there through it all, and Kaylee was, and I need to touch on this too, because I always need to, be grateful. I always try to start my days with gratitude, and because I think at the end of the day, being rooted in gratitude is so important. So for me, I'm so grateful for you. And I know that in that time where you were the very first person that I came out to as a lesbian. So, and I know for me that weight lifted off my shoulders, that I could say those words out loud. And I still vividly remember saying the words and being like, this is so weird to say those words out loud, because you have been thinking it for so many years, right? You feel that stuff, but you push it down. So to be able to feel safe enough to say that to another human being meant so much to me. So thank you for that.
Of course. Love is love, baby.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And so I told you, and when I told you, I was like, okay. It took a while. It did take a while. It seemed fast, but for me, it felt like a lifetime from the time I told you to when I started telling our other close friends and my family. And that was a whole other monster. But so when I eventually did come out, it was by far the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. And I've been through, like, I think I've been through a lot. I've been through domestic violence, and I've been through, for my son, we had to do fertility treatments. So I did 7 IVF cycles for him, and I've lost babies, and, I've had a lot of that. So, but for me, coming out was the hardest. It's hard. It's hard when you're a people pleaser. I'm a retired people pleaser, an empath.
I feel that. Yep. Preach.
Well, we're the same person again, right? So it was very difficult with that thought and that heaviness of letting people down, right?
Yes. And going against the grain and against what you've heard your whole life, and, like, worrying, like, the shame and all those things, like.
Yeah, the shame and the guilt was the worst.
The heaviest,
Obviously, clearly, it's still there a little bit. Especially when you have a child, I feel like you feel that guilt of breaking up your family. And I know I've met so many people that are in the same boat, or that have been in the same boat, have had, a similar story to mine. And so that guilt has been is very heavy. But I will tell you, being on the other side of it now, and I can talk a little bit more about that whole process and what that looked like, but being on the other side of it now was the best thing that I have ever done in my entire life. Like, my son is happy and loves my fiance, and I have been blessed enough to find her in this world, and I have no idea how I found my soulmate.
That's a whole other story. We need to share that, because that's just, like, beautiful. We can't let us forget about that. Story.
we have to tell that story, because that's the goal, right? You want to be, when you're closeted, you feel like there is 1,000 bricks sitting on your chest. You just want to be your authentic self. You want to be loved, and coming out shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing at all. Straight people just love who they want, right? It should be the same thing.
Exactly. Love is motherfucking love. Like, I agree so much. Like, hopefully one day I'm blessed to have human children of my own, and, like, whatever they want, whoever they are, I'm like, work it, baby. Like, you do you. Like,
that's right. You're a good human, and you're kind, and you're contributing to society, and you're putting out positive vibes, and you're doing good things. What does it matter who you love?
Exactly.
It doesn't.
Love is the most beautiful. I'm a lover. Like, even there's, like, an archetype thing you can do. There's, like, 12 of them. It's literally, I'm a lover. I love love so much. So romantic. When I hear love stories, I just get so happy. And it wouldn't even mean, I'm in like the most beautiful partnership of my life. But even when I was single, I love the love stories. Like, they're just beautiful, and they're inspirational, and who doesn't love love?
Right? It's funny that you say that. And I knew this this conversation. I'm not going to call it an interview because I feel like you and I just vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a conversation. And I feel like, I have a squirrel brain already. What was I going to say with that? What were we just talking about?
Being like loving love and being in good partners. Yeah.
Right. Being romantic is where I was going with that, is in my previous relationships, I've had romantic partners, and it always made me feel uncomfortable when somebody like I'm serious, when somebody was romantic with me, I was like, oh my God, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I'm a lover. And now like my fiance, my wife, I call her my wife already. We're not married yet, but my fiance is so romantic, and I literally cry, like bawl real tears.
She's so romantic. Oh my God. Like, okay, I'm just going to say this. Before you guys got engaged, I knew what was going on because she showed me. I was bawling. I was like, oh my God. I was like, she's going to die. And like, just the sweet little, like the song choice and like this and this, I died. Like, we can tell the details once we get into that, but oh my God. So romantic.
Oh
yes. Like,
and it's because it wasn't the right person, right? That's why I see that now. But like, that's what I mean about the clothesline, like all these little things hanging. And I don't mean to jump back and forth through the story, but there's so many moving parts through it.
Yeah, go for it.
It's just like reminding me of so many things. And I know you were there for the big, like the majority of this, and the heaviness and the stress. And the way stress manifests in my body specifically is not good. So that whole being closeted and being in a heterosexual relationship, and not being able to live my authentic true self, and live my best life, was manifesting in physical ways. My health was deteriorating. I couldn't eat without vomiting. I lost, like, I think it was 70 pounds in 4 months. I had a stroke. It was not good. Like, it was going to kill me. I knew it. I knew it was going to kill me. And I was like, I was terrified, and I knew it was going to be so hard. It was going to be the hardest thing that I ever had to do. But, and I think that for me, you were a huge sounding board. And I knew, it's so funny because I always felt the safest with my ex-husband, because he is very amazing and I felt safe with him. But for me, having you there as a sounding board, and knowing that I was going to have to cut that tie, right? And to not feel alone. I was like, it's okay. I have Kaylee. Like, I have her,
girl.
you know? So and for me, like, sharing my story that's what I want to be to other people. Like, because we don't always have that support. You don't have those people that are going to be like, it's okay, I'm here. Like, it's going to be okay. You know, even if it's not okay right now, you have to go through it to come out the other side.
The only way out is through. Like, And I can remember us having these conversations, and I was like, you know, I was like, I love you. And I was like, I'm here for you. No matter what, I got you. I was like, this is probably going to be the toughest thing you're ever going to do, but it's going to be so worth it. I was like, I know it's going to suck. It's going to suck balls right now. Well, I just have to make a joke. I'm like, you won't be sucking balls. I will.
Preach, girl. Preach that.
But, you know, like, it's not going to be easy. But I think because I'm trying to think of the timeline when that happened. It was after my breakup, right?
It was. We both went through ours around the same time. It was right after, though. You went yours first.
And that
awakening.
Yeah, and I was like, I think the reason I felt, well, no matter what, I would have felt comfortable saying it, but because I knew it, because I was doing it right now. Like, I think that was why I was like, I just know, because even like, you're still going to deal with pain and things are going to bubble up and all those things, but the weight that's released, like you said, when you do it, you can't even make up that feeling. Like, it's just like, because you just know, and everyone who looks after you, your spirit guides, your angels, everyone is like, thank God, like,
right?
Like,
yeah. And it breaks my heart thinking about how long it took. But you know what? I was talking to my fiance about that yesterday, about the timing of everything and divine timing, and
divine timing is everything.
Everything. And it's so hard to have faith. Whether you have faith, you know, and again, like, I feel like religion and politics a lot of time plays a part in the people that are fearful of coming out. And
yes,
whether you have faith in higher being and God in the universe, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
having that faith that it will work out and just trusting in the universe and divine timing, because if I wouldn't have gone through all of that, I wouldn't know how to love her like she deserves how to be loved, and vice
Oh
versa.
my God, preach. Literally, you are in my brain as always. I was going to say the exact same thing. Like my man that I'm with now, I would not have been ready for him
Yep.
until we met. Oh my God, it's just been a year now. So, but like literally, I know, but given everything I went through and like that learning process of you get so, like dead set on this is what I want and this is because some things you think you can deal with, and then you go through it and you're like, nope, I thought I could deal with this, but I can't.
Yeah.
And you get more defined in what exactly you're looking for, because I think that's a key thing when you're looking for or manifesting your partner or looking for your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever your journey happens to be in that way. When you go through life and go through those bad experiences, use them as a tool. Like you need to learn from that, because you're going to get clear on, am I continuously dating the same person? Am I not with the right gender? You're going to know. And I just love it so much, because we learn so much through that process. And then like you literally, like what you just said, you get to the right person who you know you're supposed to be with. And not only that, but you got all the tools with you to know how to love and be loved and everything.
That the tools are key, right? It's like starting life with an empty backpack. If you don't have the tools in your backpack, you're gonna struggle, right? And
you only get the tools from having a problem come up in front of you.
Exactly. Sometimes we're all not blessed with, having those people in our lives that have support that teach us these tools, because sometimes they don't have the tools either.
Yeah,
right? Like
exactly.
have the tools. If they're taught a certain thing, then that's gonna come onto us. And it's breaking the cycle for me is something that I've been very passionate about. And I'm not saying, like, I love my parents. They are beautiful human beings. They have hearts and souls, but they didn't have the tools, right? They were raised a certain way. It's just a society thing. Same thing.
Yeah. And that's it. When you can look at your parents, no matter what trauma has happened, as people with their own trauma and their own things, not saying that will necessarily happen quickly or right away. It might take a lot of time for you to get to that place. But when you do, I think that's a key part in the healing process as well.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. It's a very difficult thing to heal and go through all of this together, because I know, for example, my mom, when I came out to my mom, it was very, very hard on her, because she was very close with my ex, and she honestly stayed in bed for months. She cried. She stayed in bed. So that was heavy on me, but I knew that she was healing at the same time. Right.
Yeah.
And she has come leaps and bounds. Like she loves my fiance with her whole heart and soul. Like they are like best friends. But when I was in it, like in that moment, I can talk about that now because I'm on the other side. But in the moment, it was so difficult. And I did not think we would be where we are today.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I remember people saying, like, just give it time, she'll come around. And I was like, I don't think she will. I think she's so heartbroken that I don't think she'll come around. And she did. And it just took time, and it took healing, and it took compassion, and it took kindness and growth, and all of those beautiful things that sometimes are intertwined with the very difficult feelings.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because it's been so much growth. You owning your truth, look at the growth it has. I don't know why I keep wanting to, I was going to say thrust upon the world, but I'm like, stop using words like that, especially with me and you. We have very dirty minds.
I'm like, nope, not going there. I ain't biting that one.
I don't know why these words pop in my head sometimes, but you know what I mean? Like you owning yourself, you got to not only grow leaps and bounds within your own being, but all those people around you. It's just amazing.
Yeah, in those relationships, right? And even up to meeting my now current fiance, who is literally
go get your girl.
Go get your girl. Okay, so let's just talk about that for a minute.
We have to.
Yeah. So when I met my now fiance. We are getting married next year. I'm so excited to marry my human. Oh my God, I love her so much, but I could talk about her for days. But when I met her initially, I was dating somebody. And so I told her that right off the bat. I said, she had messaged me. She slid into my DMs. She slid right in. And
She saw something she liked.
Yeah. And she slid right in, and I told her right the very second message I sent her. I said, I'm dating somebody. I'm always up for new friends, because at that time I was still very newly out of the closet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Still learning, still building that community. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, still healing and still finding my place in the community, because I have found, like, being where I am now, is that a lot of times if you were straight in quotation marks for those that are listening, that sometimes you're not as welcomed as people that have been out of the closet for a long time. So I'm kind of finding my place in that, and have found so many amazing people in the community. And so when I did start talking to her, I was looking for friends as well. Like, I wasn't looking necessarily to even date at that time, because I was still healing.
Yeah.
There was still a lot going on. And she'll agree to that. And she's been so patient and amazing through that whole process. And to me, that just speaks to her character. But so when we were friends first, but we knew instantly. And like you and I, for example, you and I have a soul connection. You can have these soul connections with people.
Yeah. Friends, family members, animals, lovers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we both knew instantly. And when I say
I knew instantly. I saw her photo. I was like, go get her. There she is. As soon as I saw her eyes, I don't know what it was, but I was like, that's her. Go get her.
I know. So yeah, I knew instantly with her that she was a soul connection. So I was like, yeah, I'm dating somebody, but I'm always down for new friends, and I vibe with you. Like, we just had so much laughed. We had great conversations, and the person that I was dating with at the time was an amazing girl, and she was so sweet and kind. But I knew that we weren't each other's person.
Well, that's it. And like, you guys had great moments. I think she was there for a reason. You definitely learned together, and it was that same thing though, like knowing how to receive and give the love. Like, and sometimes it's nothing wrong with that person. Some people you're just not compatible with long term or whatever. They don't light you up in the same, like, when you're with that special person, it literally blows everything else out of the water that you've ever had in your entire life. Like, it's not like, I can't even explain it sometimes with my own connection, like what we have. It's just, I'm so grateful for it, because I've never experienced like love like that. And that's the difference, right?
It really is. Yeah. And that was hard. And again, like, I think at the time I still had a lot of guilt from what had happened with my ex and that whole thing. So for me, I was just consumed with guilt, but I was just trying to be myself. Like, I was just trying to love who I wanted to love, but also like stand by like my values and my beliefs and who I was. And so we did break it off, and Beth and I don't call her Beth, but everybody else calls her
B.
Beth. B and I, my love, and I developed this amazing relationship, and I decided to book a plane ticket to go see her, because she was American.
Because it was TikTok was how you guys connected,
TikTok
right?
is how we met. I'm forever grateful, and people can say what they want about social media, but I am forever grateful. I never would have met her. Like, it scared, like, it makes me panic. So I'm like, imagine if I never met her. Like, she is my entire world. Like, and she's just such a huge light in my life. And so I'm very, very
I feel
grateful.
like where she came to you you both came to each other at the right time.
Yeah.
And like, she had to go through her stuff too. You had to. That's like any of us. We all go through our own growth and relationships, and then when it's right, it's like, hey.
And it's so funny, because people say, when you know, and like sayings out there, you're like, okay, whatever.
The cliche.
Yes, cliche. But I'm telling you, I am telling everybody out there listening, watching on YouTube, whatever, when you know. And if your gut is telling you that it is not right, that something is off, that is your soul screaming at you, listen to your soul.
Yep. And
listen
stop
to.
giving your people reason, like when they're doing stuff that doesn't align with you, stop giving them opportunities to prove themselves correct. If they're showing you
Yeah,
exactly who they are, you're not
yeah.
going to change them. Don't try to change them, because you know what? They may be perfect for whoever their person is, just as they
Yeah.
are.
Yes, great. I love that. And it's so true because they're not a bad person. They're just not
Yeah,
your, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, we met on TikTok. She slid in my DMs and anyway, eventually I booked a flight, and there's a few defining moments for me with her. She had sent me, it was about probably 2 weeks after we started dating officially. She had sent me her sweater in the mail, and she sprayed her cologne.
Oh, I remember this. Oh my
Yeah.
God, yes.
It
What
was for
about the
Michigan.
necklace?
I
Was
should have
that there
wore it.
too?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
took it off actually, because I showered. I don't like to wear it because I don't want to ruin it. Anyway, so she sent me, the necklace was after the sweater, so she sent me a
Okay.
Michigan sweater. She's from Michigan. She sent me that, and I remember opening the box, and she sprayed it with her cologne. And I opened the box, and it
Oh,
was the weirdest feeling. It was like I smelled it before. So
stop. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, all of these, like, I have so many weird signs and things with her. Like, I opened the box
Yeah.
and I lost it. I was sitting in my Jeep in the mailbox, the
Yes.
ball, because it was a weird feeling. Like, I knew, I just knew in my
Oh,
heart, I knew in
I
my soul.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when my ex and I, the girl that I was dating, and I broke up, and I talked to you about it, and I was like, this is how I feel with my ex. This is how I feel with B. And I explained to you, like, this is
Mm-hmm.
how I'm feeling. Like, I need to bounce these things off of you because we're best friends and that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you saying, without even commenting on anything I just said, you literally said 3 words, 4 words: go get your girl. Go get your girl. And I will never forget it. And I was like, because I was scared because she lived in Michigan. I was like, this can never work. Long distance can never work.
Yes.
We met on TikTok. Like, this is crazy. Like, and here we are, a year and some later, and she is living with me. She's not right now. She's back in Michigan, and my son is so head over heels in love with her, and we're getting
Yes.
married. And it's just a true testament to, don't put boundaries on locations and people and gender, and you never know who's out
Mm-hmm.
there, right?
And when it's right, you're going to make it work. Like,
Exactly.
there may be obstacles. That's life. That's anything. No
Mhm.
matter if you're in a soulmate or a twin flame connection, there is going to be obstacles. That's the human experience, right? Like, we're still a soul and a body here to experience things. So I think that's something good to mention too, when people think, oh, I'm, again, romantic over here. Of course we want the fairy tale,
Yeah.
but that's just not reality. But when you can approach those obstacles with like that problem solving mentality of like, well, it doesn't matter. I love you and we're it. So let's just make it work, and you'll figure it out. And it's great.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, and we're still long distance right now. Like, she was here, you can only stay in Canada for 6 months. So she was here for a very long time, and it was amazing. And
Yeah.
um, I'm heading there on Friday. I can't wait to see her. And but we have known, like, every obstacle, and she was going through a healing journey too when we met.
Yes, of
She
course.
had her own stuff going on. So, but we always knew that at our core, like, she has such a beautiful soul, and is such a good human being, just at her core as a person. Like, not my
Oh
wife,
yeah.
as a
And
human.
like, you can feel that, like, her and I, like, I mean, we haven't met in person yet, but I have tears in my eyes right now. I know you can see that.
Don't cry,
But
girl.
like,
You won't make me cry.
even just talking to her, like, on voice message or video or whatever, you can just feel it. You can just feel that with people. And like, oh my God, like, legit, when she was going to propose to you and stuff, she like sent me the ring, and well, no, she said the way she set it up, and I can still think of I can picture the messages. I don't know what she said, but then it clicked in my head what she was going to do. And I was like, are you proposing? Oh, yeah.
I remember her showing me the message after she proposed. She was like, Kaylee knows, your mom knows. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I was so surprised. Oh my God. It was literally, aside from giving birth to my son, was the best day of my life, because I was not expecting it. And it was
No,
something
you weren't. And I was like, none of us can say anything because like it was the biggest surprise. And what she planned was so fucking romantic. I was dying. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I know. Oh my gosh. It was just incredible. And she had like, for people that are listening, they obviously they can't see us right now, but this was my first trip to see her in person. So we had FaceTimed every day. We slept on FaceTime. Like we were like attached at the hip. We were in love. We were best friends. We were all of the things. So we knew, like we had talked about marriage, kids, our future. Like we knew right off the bat. And so for me, I knew that this was my person. I knew I was going to be with her until I was old. I loved her in this life. I'm going to love her in the next. I loved her in previous lives, like all of the things. So when I went to meet her, I have to tell this. I tell this little story. When I went to meet her, she's so sweet and timid, and I am clearly not timid. And so I was more excited. I was like, woo, I'm so excited to meet my human and see her and just love on her and hug her. And the poor thing was so nervous, Kaylee. She was like sweating. Oh my God. She was in the basement of the apartment of the airport waiting for my bags. And I remember it was like a movie. I got off the plane and I was texting her and I was like, I'm here. And she was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to run. I'm going to die. I'm going to faint. I'm not sure. But like I'm stressing. I was like, baby, it's okay. Like I'm coming. As soon as I'm in your arms, all of that's going to leave. Right. Cause like you talk, it's a weird thing nowadays to build a relationship on FaceTime and whatever. And people sometimes are skeptical of that. They're like, okay, it's, it's not real. It's social media. It's whatever. But it was very real for us.
Mm-hmm. Connection.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? Before social media, people wrote letters.
Yes, exactly.
What do you like? Like,
oh my God.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
That's right. And people are scared of different, right?
Yeah.
Change. Like it's just different, but it was a very palpable connection for us.
Yeah.
And so it was like a movie. I was like, got off the plane and I was walking and I was fine. Like I was a little nervous, but I was just excited. And so I'm hauling my little suitcase behind me and I'm going down the escalator. And my biggest thing was like, I need to see her first. Because I didn't want to be surprised. I didn't want her to like pop out from behind a freaking pillar. So it's like,
I would be like that too. I would be like, I need to get my eye on the target and okay.
And now I'm good. Because I was like, I'm gonna trip. I'm gonna do something stupid. Like, so I was like, I need to see her. So I did. I spotted her first because she was texting me. So I was coming down the escalator and I saw her. She was leaning up against like a pillar or a post. And then so I was walking and I was just waiting for her to look at me, like to see me. And she made eye contact. And I seen her like breathe out. She was like, whew. And she looked down and she started walking the other way. And I was like, that bitch is gonna run. She gonna run. And so I texted her. I said, I'll catch you. You can try and run, but I'm gonna catch you. So obviously she didn't run. And she turned around and I just ran and I jumped in her arms and it was like I said, all of that stress just went away and that nervousness and and the rest is history. We've been attached to the hip ever since and we're getting married.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's so good. Like it literally is like a fairy tale movie. Like
I know,
a modern day fairy tale.
It really is. But at the same time, like I just want to again reiterate that back when I was going through the thick of it and when I was in the closet and when I was trying to figure out because in the beginning, I didn't think when I told my mom and when I told you and when I told my other best friend Holly and when I told these people that were the closest to me, I swore them to secrecy. I was like, you cannot tell people this is going to the grave. I'm not breaking up my family. I can't do this. This is not okay. Like that shame and that guilt, right? So in that moment, I just don't want people to think like, okay, it was easy. You know what I mean?
Oh no, definitely not. No, we're just celebrating the beautiful love story.
For sure.
Yeah.
To let people know that like it's gonna suck. It's gonna be hard. And you told me that. You were like, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna hurt.
I don't want to say this, but I also have to say this because it's the truth.
Exactly. And it did. It sucked. It hurt. It was so incredibly difficult, but it was the best thing I've ever done for myself and for my family, like for my son. Living your authentic, being your authentic self and living your truth and is just such a powerful thing. And being like, I don't know how to describe this, but like being yourself and being vulnerable is creating that safe space for other people to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yes. So much yes.
Yeah. So,
I love
uh,
that.
yeah. And I had somebody in my life at the time that was very close to me, that was closeted and still is. So for me, that was a lot of not motivation, but I was like, listen, she's a lot younger than I am. I was like,
Hmm.
if I do this, maybe she will feel safe and feel like it's
Yes.
possible for her to do this, you know? Um, so there was a lot of moving parts there, but yeah, it was, I'm just so grateful that I had you and my safe place, and just to, again, if you don't have that support in your family or your friends or your circle, there are people out there that will love you. They will be that
Yes.
mom for you. They will be that friend. They will be that community that you need to help you be yourself, but also don't feel pressured to come out when you're not ready. Like,
Exactly.
do it when you're ready. Um, yeah, so it's been
Yeah.
very,
And it'll just flow. And sometimes, like, you know, the right time, it might just happen. Like, there I've heard so many different stories. Like, some are a slow build, some it's just the words just come out of your mouth because you literally can't keep them
yeah,
in anymore. And no matter what your story is, it's still beautiful. It's amazing. It's yours and it's nobody else's.
that's right.
And yeah, you get to create your we should all be living our dream lives because we can
Oh my
all
God.
have it.
Yeah.
It's a process, absolutely. It's not easy, but that's just life, the twists and turns of life.
Yeah, it's true. And like, and again, another cliche saying that you hear is nothing good. Or what is that saying? Actually, I can't even think of it now. Nothing good. Well, I can't even think of it now.
Is it about like
Like
working
worth.
hard
Yeah, like worth.
or
Nothing.
like good things come to those who wait?
No,
Like what?
I can't think of it. Circle back later on that. But
Is
it's
it something about
basically
like
like anything good is going to be difficult. Like anything worth
yeah,
having
yeah,
is
yeah.
there's going to be struggle in it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Uh, and I firmly believe that. So yeah,
Yeah.
those feelings, those sitting with those difficult feelings are very hard. They were hard for me, you know that. They were
Oh
very,
yeah.
whether it was, and for me I was like, whether I drank to suppress them or whether
Hmm.
I covered them up with humor or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Those feelings were very uncomfortable, but those uncomfortable feelings now, even though they're still difficult, I embrace them more because I'm like, I know what's on
Yes.
the other side of them, right?
Yeah. And I want to say too, I not maybe for every scenario, but the more you sit with discomfort, it does eventually get a little easier. Like you can sit with it and it maybe doesn't consume your entire like I had moments literally where I was like laying on the floor
Oh, same.
bawling with the saddest music on.
Yes, just
Like,
basking in it, like
yeah.
this is the end.
And I mean, it's not saying those things wouldn't happen, but I don't, that's not as extreme as it is now. So,
100%, I agree with you. It does get easier. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's
yeah.
worth it. And for me, throughout that whole process, I remember getting the question from people like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you breaking up your family?" And like you were saying, the words just come out, and that's what happened to me. I knew
Mm-hmm.
I made the decision months before I actually came out to my ex. Um,
Yes.
and it was just building up and building up, and I was so scared. I was terrified to my core to say those words because I knew
Yeah.
what, right, I knew it was going to break his heart. I knew it was going to break up my family. And then so when they happened, I remember my mom was outside and she was I had come in from yoga and I was trying to find all of these things to bring peace and calm to my heart. So I was like, yoga, I love
Yeah.
it. You introduced me to yoga, and so I was like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
That will make me feel better because I was still very
Mm-hmm.
positive. And I came back from yoga and I felt still a lot of anxiety, like that ball in your chest.
Yeah.
And I had told my mom months before, I told her multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And about 3 months before that specific incident, she had said to me, we were playing cards at the table, and I had told her that I wasn't going to tell anybody. And then I decided that I was, and I could not live like this anymore. It was literally killing me. It was killing my soul,
Yeah.
my body. And so we were playing cards, and I said to her, she had shown me a picture of a guy on TikTok. She's like, oh my God, he's so handsome. And I was like, yeah, he's handsome. I don't like men. I said that out loud. It was still weird to say those words. I was like, but he's handsome.
Yeah.
And she was frustrated, right? Because she was still in her healing process. She was
Yes.
still, not comfortable with it. And like I said, she's a totally different person now.
Yeah.
And she's come leaps and bounds. But at the time, she got frustrated and she was like, well, you can never tell that to your ex. And then so I said to her, so then that was that external, guilt, right? It just added onto the internal guilt that I had. And I was like, but I have to. And I remember saying that. I remember saying those words and her being like, my son's room was right off where the table was. And she pointed to it and she said, you're going to ruin his life. You're going to ruin his life. And so, that was very heavy. So
oh my God, yes.
So I explained to her, I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, me being in bed all day. Like I went through depression and anxiety. I was medicated, I was drinking. I was doing
so much health stuff.
Oh my God. I had a stroke. Like it was just a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to explain to her, like, this is not fair to him. Like I am not myself. I'm not happy. I'm not healthy. And so, trying to explain that and, it was really heavy. And so I left that conversation very confused. And a couple nights later is when I went to yoga and I came in the house and she was outside and she was crying when I came back from yoga because she was upset, understandably. Like I understand it's confusing, right, for a lot of family members when you're, in quotation marks, straight your whole life. And I 100% get that. And I was trying to explain that to her. Like, I understand you're confused. You're going to feel all the feels. And I'm here for you. To work through those, like we can work through them together. And we did. But so I went in the house and I was visibly upset from that conversation with her. And my ex was standing at the island in the kitchen and he knew for months, he knew for years that there was, something not right.
Yeah.
And so he was standing there and I just started to cry. And that was the moment for me. And I knew that was the moment. I was like, I can't, it was like a pressure valve. It was up to here. It was up to my chin. And I was like, I have to tell him. And so he said, there's something going on. Tell me what's wrong. I know there's something wrong. It's been a long time. What is going on with you? And so I had my head in my hands and I was crying and I couldn't breathe. And I just said to him, I'm terrified to say the words. I'm scared to tell you. I'm going to tell you, but I'm scared. And so I just said, I'm gay. And that was the hardest night of my life, the hardest night. So there was a lot of healing after that. And there was a lot of moments where, we talked through it and we figured it out and we're better for it. And I just kept telling people the only thing I want is peace in my heart. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. I just want peace in my heart. I don't want fancy things. I don't want, I just want peace. So, and I have it now. So
yes,
I'm very grateful. Very grateful.
Of course. Oh my God. Yes. So much gratitude. Like that's the beauty of it is like, we live every day in gratitude, but when you are brave and take those steps and make those changes, because changing your life is hard in any way, no matter if it's in your relationships, with your career, with your lifestyle, like it's not easy to make those shifts. And it's just, I just love these stories of when you are so connected into who you are and you're like, you know what, there's literally no more fighting this. Like this has to be brought to light. And it's just amazing. I wanted to ask too, like through this whole process, like, because I know keeping your mindset strong is not always easy, given, especially when there's a lot of external things coming at you. Like, were there any books, podcasts, TikTok accounts, anything that helped you with this process? Like, I know you built a really great community on TikTok. Like, I think that did help you a lot. I'm just curious, kind of like, how'd you stay strong in those moments besides leaning on, those safe people that you did have?
Yeah. And like we all have our own social media platforms that we love, right? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. For me, TikTok for me was a very bright light in a dark time in my life. And I think that at the time I didn't realize how many people were going through something similar. And again, circling back to being yourself and being vulnerable, creating that safe space for people. I felt that a lot from a few TikTok creators that are now like, like Rhea and Amber that are getting married this summer. Rhea's story touched me.
Oh my God, they're getting married. I remember you
Yes,
telling me this story. Oh my God.
They're getting married in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, I'm having flashbacks literally to like
Yeah.
before. Yeah, you followed them for forever. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I followed Rhea first, and she has an incredible story too, where she didn't have a supportive family. And she is Albanian, and she grew up kind of in that religious household where that was not a thing. So for me, connecting with her, and we did chat, a little bit back when I first started coming out, and she was just so inspiring to me, and she found her person. And it's so funny because her and Amber remind me a lot of me and Dee. So
Yes.
they're my favorite. They're so funny, and they're perfect for each other. And her mom now loves Amber like her own daughter, and it's just
Yes.
so funny to look back. But TikTok was 100% where I found that community of people that I have met so many, now I consider them to be best friends, that are a part of the 2S LGBTQ plus community. And it was just a very safe place for me. And I still am. I just love meeting new people through TikTok and all social media platforms, but TikTok specifically was a huge outlet.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. And I feel like you found that community. I'm not saying it would be impossible to find on other platforms, but not in the same way. Like I feel like
Yeah.
that community, it's just different on that platform in a good way, like in the best way possible. I feel people share more. So then you
Yeah.
can actually be like, I relate to you. This makes
Yeah.
sense. That's what I'm going through.
Yes. And that's the thing
Yeah.
with the For You page on TikTok, is that the
Yes.
algorithm is specific to what you like or what you're into or whatever. So as I was going through TikTok and I was seeing these stories, and I don't remember what month it was, but I think it was either right before or right after Pride. So I was seeing a lot of these Pride stories, and I'm like, oh my gosh, people are going through the same thing that I'm going through. Like, this is a thing, like, because you feel isolated, right? When you don't have that support.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, and then I started connecting with people and talking about it, and not feeling as, not feeling that shame as much and that guilt, and creating those connections. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yes, I love that. And it just brings me back to the importance of us as a humankind sharing our stories. Like, of course, there are things you don't have to share everything. You know what I mean? We're all different. Like you don't have to let everything out. But these particular stories, I just think they're so impactful and they're just so important. For instance, it's exactly like Kelsey just said, without other people sharing their stuff on TikTok, those things helped you in your process. So I say this all the time, but we're all just walking each other home. So, it's
Oh,
just amazing if we can share with everyone and connect ourselves. And I'm just so like, I just love that you're sharing this, because that's what I want with this podcast, is to help others not feel alone and find someone that they click with or they resonate with. They're like, oh my God, and if she could do it, maybe I could do it. Like,
yeah.
that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, it really is. And I think that, like, being closeted there's a reason why people say being in the closet, because you're alone.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for being a part of the community, and like on Friday, I'm heading to Grand Rapids and going to my very first Pride event. I've never been to Pride. So
Oh my God. So exciting.
Yeah. And I was just talking to B. I was like, 99.9% chance I'm a ball, because I've never been to Pride. I never thought I'd be there, like, as a part of the community, and open and proud.
And with your person, and like, no shame. You're going to like hold her hand, make out, hug, everything. And like,
I mean, I
okay.
do that.
And also, oh, for sure. But to have it with all that celebration, oh my God, like I can just, the energy is going to be lit. Like Pride and like drag shows, things like that. Literally, it's pure joy. Like, there was I'm going slightly off topic, but there was a drag show here. It was in April, and it was I always say the wrong word. I think War on the Catwalk is what it was called, but it was RuPaul Drag Race Queens performing.
I love that.
Oh, it was, me. What's that?
I'm reaching my charger. I'm gonna plug my phone in.
Oh yes, no worries. But you know how much I love drag, and it's just like one of my favorite things. So I had asked one of my friends here to go, and she said yes so quickly. I just assumed she watched it or knew who they were, whatever. Like I just thought, of course, I'm like everybody needs to watch this show. But
Yes.
so she said yes, and we went, and it was literally like all the best energy. I was high on life. It was just everyone was happy and it was love. And she even said that she was like, this is like the best energy I've ever been around. Cause like, and then I went and asked her, oh, which queen do you like? She's like, oh, I've never seen it. I've never watched drag before. I was like, what? So it was just cool for me to hear from someone who's never experienced it to feel what I was feeling too. It was cool.
Yeah, it's so true. And like, we're just out here living life and loving. Like, that's what we do. Like, that's the energy I feel as a part of the community. And that's kind of my whole, like, a part of what was missing in my entire life. Like, it's just where I'm meant to be. I've never been happier. And it's just amazing. Yeah. And drag is, oh my gosh. It's funny because the Pride event that we're going to in Grand Rapids has like 3 different drag shows throughout the day on Saturday.
Who's coming? I'm like, tell me who's coming.
I know. I didn't look at the actual. She sent it to me right before this call, so I don't know actually the queens that are.
Okay, after we're done, send me, and I'll be like freaking out.
And I'll be snapping you the whole time.
Yes, I will die. Like I live for them. It's just like, it's just the best. Like so
just living their truth, right?
Yes, and like living their art and like just even the community itself, so accepting and full of love and like do what you want, wear what you want, work it girl, work it queen, like yes mama, yes.
I know. And I feel like a lot of times people are scared to be too much, right? And the people that don't
I love too much.
I also love too much. Like be too much, be loud, be yourself, be authentic, be vulnerable, be all of those things. And so I find that like with drag, that's what I pull out of that is that they're just being, they're being themselves, they're being loud, they're being amazing. I love it.
Oh my God, I could talk so much about this. But like even just I have to say too, their stories, that's what gets me. Yes. I'm like, I like that show. Say what people want about it, but I love it because not only does it feed my creative soul with like the fashion, the acting, the singing, the modeling, the work, the dancing, everything, but they're freaking stories of inspiration, and it pulls me right back to what we're doing right here and now. I have been brought to tears. I have been more inspired listening to these queens than I have been listening to anything else. And it just, because it shows you literally you can do what you want in this life. And it's like we said, it's not necessarily an all the way up kind of path. It's going to have dips and hills and valleys, ebbs and flows, but it's still amazing.
Oh my God, yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like it's just brings such a peace and regardless if you're gay, if you're straight, doesn't even matter. Like do things scared. Like even if you're scared, do them anyway. Follow your heart, listen to your, do them scared because that's how you grow, and that's how you bring the people that are meant to be in your life into your circle.
It's so true. So true. Oh my God, this was freaking amazing. Do you have any final words of wisdom? You've dropped so much on us already, but if you have anything else you'd like to add, we love to hear it.
I don't know. I think the biggest thing that the biggest piece of advice that I can offer is just, like I just said, do it scared. And there are people out there that will support you and love you, and strangers are just friends that you haven't met yet. So if you don't have that support and you don't feel safe, there are people out there that will love you and support you through it. And I know because I found them and I'm on the other side of it now. So be yourself, create your own style, be unique, and others will identify with you and feel safe and validated. And that's what it's all about. That's what life's about. So, yeah.
I love that so much. Oh my God. Well, I guess we'll get your social medias and stuff before we sign off as well. How can people connect with you if they've resonated with your story today?
Yeah. So my biggest platform is probably TikTok. So it's just it's me Kels on TikTok. And Instagram, actually I need to change my Instagram name because it's still my old name, but
I think it's updated because when I saw it, you did, yeah. I was like, oh, she changed her Insta. Yeah.
I gotta
It's
check.
the
I
same
can't
as
remember.
it's hey, it's me, Kels. It's that. It's the
Oh
same.
yes, that's right. I did change it. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Hey at Me Kels at Instagram too, and then it's just Kelsey LeGresley on Facebook. Yeah, I'm not super.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't frequent that much, but TikTok
Yeah.
and Instagram probably my biggest. Yeah.
I feel like most of my guests were all the same. We're like, we don't really use Facebook as much, but
Yeah.
like, it's so funny how that's shifted with time too. But yeah, so I'll be sure as well. If you're listening on or watching, I should say, on YouTube, she'll be linked in the description box. If you're listening on podcast, I'll have it all linked. Her name will be there. It'll also be on my Instagram tagged. So if you have any trouble finding her, she'll be tagged everywhere. So there'll be no troubles finding her. But yeah, I just want to thank you again so much for sharing your story with us today. I know it's a beautiful, emotional, awesome, raw story, and I live for it. And I'm just very appreciative of you in general as a human, but just I really, really love that you've shared your light with the world today because it's a beautiful light.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I know I was a little nervous, but I knew it was going to be amazing with you on the other side. You've always been such a huge support and encouragement to me. And I just hope that, if anybody's listening that needs an ear or needs support, just reach out to me or Kaylee. She's been a huge, light in my life. And, that inclusive feeling is very important. So reach out anytime.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. This was
Thank you, love.
amazing.
So
What
good.
a great celebration of Pride Month too. I was like, we have to release this in June. It's such a special month. So yay Pride Month, yay your story, and yay for everyone who's joined us today. So thank you, tea drinkers, for bringing your beautiful energy into this podcast. I really feel it. If you're listening, give us a rating. And if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. That really helps build our community up and we can reach even more beautiful souls. So that's tea time for today, everybody. And we will see you next time. Bye.